Welcome everybody to Living Consciously TV, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. We are, of course, as always, are streaming on YouTube Live as well as Hangouts and at consciousevolutionmedia.com. I'm your host and moderator, Coach Steve Toth, and this network has been around for 12 years, and it's going to continue to be on hundreds more. And let me introduce you to our theme this evening. Our theme is how to create, well, actually, I changed the theme. The new theme is bioarchitecture and the next century of sustainability. And also, let me introduce our guest cast this evening. Today, that happens to be Fernando Bosa, who is joining us from San Diego or Southern California somewhere. He is a bioarchitect and a planetary liberator. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve Thoth. I've been reading your Emerald Tablets for quite some time, so I'm happy to be appearing here on the Tablets of Destiny, which is this technology, and all these beautiful goddesses around me.
You have to read the tablets 100 times, you know.
Oh, yes. Repeat it, program it.
Have you done that already?
I'm up probably about 50 times when I started 10 years ago. Serious.
Okay, awesome. And also, this is going to be one heck of a show. So also, let me introduce you to the rest of the cast, and starting with next to Fernando is Jamie Lerner, and she's joining us from the Windy City. That would be Chicago. Welcome to the show, Jamie.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back.
It's good to have you. And next to her, that would be Linda Dyer, who's joining us from that place where the kangaroos are always roaming 24/7. That would be Australia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the kangaroos are hiding today because we have rain. So
I'm about to get it. I'm about to have rain here. Yeah. So, but that's going to be great. And next to Linda, we have Susie Verdi, who's joining us from the Big Apple. That would be New York City. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
So,
lovely to be here.
It's great to have you. This great theme of ours, actually, this is our guest's, Fernando's theme, bioarchitecture and the next century of sustainability. I think the best way would be to start this, to have this unfold, is to give us a little clarification of bioarchitecture and what you mean by the next century of sustainability, and then we'll ask questions as we go.
Thank you, Steve. This focus began on December 22nd, 2012. You guys remember December 21st? We were all ready for this global galactic party. We woke up the next day with a hangover, and it was the same reality for most of us. You know, I expected to hear announcements worldwide that the governments had actually decided to become benevolent. I was looking forward to the military doing reparatory work around the planet. I was looking for the banking system to change. From one day to the next, I was that convinced. So that's when I started with the idea to focus in what we would consider spiritual work, the inner development, into manifesting physical, real solutions that can be brought in from all of the aspects that I am. So bioarchitecture is really the structuring of life. How do we build buildings that heal our bodies, give us energy, water, food, but a quantum food, a quantum water, a quantum electricity to regenerate everything that we are. How's that for a beginning of 2012?
Well, that's interesting. Were you aware, Fernando, that there are people on this planet that do not eat and do not use water?
My Breatharian brothers and sisters?
Them.
Yes, well, you know, they're a lot of fun.
Let's get them on this network, shall we?
Right. It's definitely a lot of fun to go out with breatharians and have a beer, right?
Yeah, really.
But I did figure out how to inhale absinthe, which is interesting because just like homeopathy, when you want to get the essence of something without having to consume a lot of it, you can just tell the body a little molecular inhalation of absinthe or any of the things that we used to overdo. You can learn how to sample food in minute quantities, and your body generates the feeling like you ate a pizza. That's real.
Yes, it is real.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes,
Part of the getting that bioarchitecture work here in Southern California, this is the remnants of Lemuria here. I've lived all the way around Lemurian continent, including in Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand. I lived in Japan, all up and down the west coast of America, and this is where Paramahansa Yogananda made his temple. So this is a vortex of energy that if we're going to build eco-cities that heal humanity, we have to pick where we're going to start, right? And I decided right here in Southern California. But I have other places where we want to do like acupuncture of the earth, build structures that put out a pulse of healing, of wellness. It's a different approach to architecture. What do you guys think?
I think it's amazing.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, my brother's been doing work like that in Fiji, and he actually got kicked out of the country. And 70 people were arrested because it was, how dare you make our people, you know, be independent and be able to create their own energy from, it was a weed on the side of the road that they realized a lot of poor countries have. Very, very interesting. He's not allowed to go back into the country yet because he was threatened, or they felt threatened by his knowledge and what he was doing with the people. But he still does it to this day here in Australia. So it's very, very interesting.
Yes, to build free energy, you got to have a free energy mind to start with.
So Fernando, how did you get the call to actually build? Because you're a builder, aren't you? I mean, you're a healer.
I'm a fine artist, really, and everything that I do, it comes from the idea of expressing it as fine art. Healing is a performance art. Architecture is an art of building homes. This came from the spiritual work of a decade where we start with the quantum energetic part of architecture first and work its way down to the physical. What if we defined sustainability as not only food, water, and energy, which is the physical, but understanding what is mental and emotional sustainability and what is spiritual sustainability, to build that connection with your source. This is, in my feeling, this next century of architecture and really the built environment is a holistic approach to everything, and it's based on compassion. To me, that's the most advanced technology there is in this entire creation at the moment. Compassion.
So Fernando, what if I said that the source was us?
Well, then you would pretty much be leapfrogging everything, and then I could just go home. Because we don't need all these play toys. We don't need the physicality to heal or to be sustainable. But I consider all of this work stepping stones. So we don't infringe on everybody's free will. Because I'm sure we've all experienced that entitlement, that spiritual entitlement. Just because I would like free energy and cities that heal me and food and water, you know, I realize that not a lot of people want that, which is interesting. They would rather go for the football game, beer, scenario, watch TV, than to actually build a new city.
Well, that is accurate. I mean, we could actually build another planet. We could build another universe. We could.
Exactly.
We are so powerful that we can do anything we want. But interestingly, the majority of the population on this planet is acting like the people in the Matrix, which is they rather take the blue pill and just have today repeated by copy and paste from yesterday.
Okay, Steve, wait a minute. I think that we are expanding as a consciousness, and we are expanding
I didn't say we weren't.
So I think there is not everybody.
I didn't say that we weren't.
Okay.
I think. I'm sorry, Jamie.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say is, I think we're all talking about the same thing. It's just that if you think about demographics, like Ken Wilber says, like, you know, the modern philosopher from Denver, actually very well known, he says that 80% of the human population right now is on the blue pill effect in terms of their choices, the quality of their choices. But the idea is evolution. So you're quite right, Jimmy, to say that actually people are evolving, and they should. It's just that there's a mass of consciousness that yet is not yet awakened to the possibility of even doing something different, because there's a huge level of comfort zone that keeps them where they are.
But
And so, you know, repeating.
I want to stick something in there. They're not
Okay,
aware.
okay.
They're not aware of who they really are. No, this is important.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
they're not
Just
aware
like
of who
the
they really are.
Buddhists always ask, where is that thought or that question coming from? Who's asking the question? The first step into this bioarchitecture realm of biomimicry, imitating life, learning from what's already in front of us, is understanding that, just like Steve said, this work is already done. The planet is already ascended. And right now we're stepping through. Are you feeling those waves of change? Just like you're
Oh,
saying,
absolutely.
Susan.
I'm changing
San Diego,
every moment.
after being gone for 3 years from San Diego, I see people doing yoga, eating holistic, healthy food. It's very interesting how it's woven its way into urban life.
And the more choices available to people, the more their awareness expands. So, you know, I think that people are much more receptive to possibilities that they didn't even know existed before.
Yeah. Fernando, I was quite intrigued by your inspiration right now, based on the mimic of nature, and like some of the constructions based on cactus, for instance, and other sort of, you know, round constructions. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, I wanted to define a little bit clearer what is healing, because to me, free energy, generating electricity from magnetism or hydrogen or plasma or any of these technologies, is the same as healing the body, the mind, and the spirit for me. And the spirit doesn't need healing. It's our connection to it. When I explore how does nature express life to thrive, not survive, as Bruce Lipton says, Dr. Lipton, we are either in survival mode or in growth mode. It's a polarity, right? How do we build houses that are compassionate architecture? Every single aspect of a building is designed for you to connect with your source. It's a different way to approach engineering, right?
Absolutely.
How do we build cities as works of compassionate art? How can we express our love and compassion for life in every single piece of the puzzle? When you open up a blueprint, when you walk into a home with your real estate agent, I'd like to be able to put a heart rate monitor on you, a blood pressure monitor, a galvanic skin response. I want to know how your body and your mind and your emotions are reacting to a space. We're going to find out a lot of the places we live in are truly toxic. The electricity running in the walls, the poisonous water running through our pipes. What do you think the body is doing at that time?
So you keep
it's reacting. It's reacting to it. That's what it's doing.
I keep hearing the word compassion, Fernando, when you speak. So what is compassion for you, and how it is that it's applied in the work you're doing now?
And thank you for that question. It is the thread, because I jump back and forth between art, science, spirituality, and for me it's seamless. Compassion is a heart-based language. It's a kind of putting on a different set of glasses and looking at it with how could I use what I am, can employ my entire being, my awareness, my education, my skills into healing people, healing nature, healing stress, pain, violence, corruption. Every letter that I write, every email that I write, what could I craft to bring about inspiration? That's the domino that it's going to take for us.
But wait, Fernando, who's the one that needs that?
Me. I need it for me. I'm healing myself. My projects are to
go.
heal me.
There
That little Fernando that was born on this planet.
You're perfect and powerful, so you can create whatever you want.
It's opening up ourselves to the language that we didn't even know that we could do this growing up. I didn't know I could do this until I had my first out-of-body experience at 8 years old.
but you see what I'm hearing, and this is interesting because there's a lot of people like you comes to this network, and what I'm finding is everybody is finding something off or something wrong with the way things are. And where I come from is that the way I find the world and life is everything is perfect just the way it is. And I allow for it.
I didn't hear that.
Okay.
You don't hear that? What do you hear? Well, sometimes I bring up negative things, and guess why I do it? It's because the positive doesn't exist without the negative. And most people in our industry would like to just take the negative stuff and put it under the carpet like it doesn't exist. But guess what? Does love exist without hate? Does hate exist without love? No. Does
Well, we don't
darkness
have
exist
balance.
without?
That's what we don't have, Steve. We have a situation, at least in my personal experience, where there's been a predominantly dark existence here. The history of humanity on this planet for the last 26,000 years has been about war. That is not balance for me for the soul.
But I'm not experiencing that right now, actually. I'm not paying
Did
attention
you
to what
study
I'm
the
being
history
fed.
before?
I'm not. You see that? I think that's part of the problem. Is we're stuck in the past.
I think we're talking about different realities. You have an individual reality, you have a collective reality, you have a global collective, a collective reality. So it depends on what kind of reality we're talking about. On a personal level, one can choose what to see. It's true, and you're right in what you're saying. But I think what Fernando's trying to say is that he's trying to address more collective type of consciousness.
Yes, I agree with that, but that
Indeed,
cannot be forced.
is
That
an
cannot be
evolution.
forced. That
No,
cannot
but
be forced.
of course
That's
it
only
cannot
going
be
to
forced.
come.
But
That's only going to come if everybody does their work.
But if you individually approach whatever you approach with the intention of compassion and the idea that you want to connect with another or situation or whatever with that, then you are certainly doing your part for the collective consciousness. There's no doubt about it. And it can be felt across the planet. There's no doubt about that. I mean, just look at the power of prayer. So if each person would do that, we would probably live in a very good feeling world.
But we don't have to worry about. But you see, we don't have to worry about the collective. It's the individual that needs to do what they need to do.
That's right. So we're talking about the individual.
But it's not about have to. It's not about have to. It's about different callings. Some people are more tuned into collective needs, and some more people are more tuned to individual reality. It's not about have. You see, you hear what you just said. Like you don't have to, and we shouldn't do anything because we have to anyway.
That's right.
Comes from our innate, emotional wisdom.
And it is all for us. So whatever you said, Fernando, you do it for yourself. It's true. We do it because it feels good for us, and hopefully that expression then resonates with others. And I think that's a wonderful.
There are some spiritual traps in all of this. Coming into a planet, being connected with the skill set of being a creator, being an artist, being someone that gets immense joy from inspiring ourselves and others, can lead you into exactly the trap that Steve is identifying of being too forceful with your message, being a little bit stepping on other people's free will.
Well, now you're talking about ego. And
Right.
there's really no place
Every time we take a side, it's a trap.
It is. But I can't go into a room. I could sit in a room and leave it as is, or I could transform it. And my joy, I love transforming spaces. Not just the physical stuff, but the stuff going on in here. Because when there's an opportunity to reveal an ideal version of what could be, others look at that like a mirror and say, wow, I didn't know we could actually clean up the world in months. I didn't know we could generate enough electricity to power the entire planet from 1 square inch of air. I didn't realize that my children are so advanced that they could teach me how to astral travel. That language is still the minute minority on the planet at the moment.
I agree.
And in my desired world, the my of my ego, that's where this is coming from, would like to begin life on a clean planet that is in peace as the baseline. How's that feel?
That feels awesome, and your creativity feels awesome. Absolutely, there's no question about it. I mean that's how everything is created into the material. Is it begins as a thought, which is consciousness, right? And you creating new things that have never been seen or experienced before. I mean, that's absolutely awesome.
I like exploring the paradigms and just deconstructing them for fun. Did we know that we could practice quantum tunneling as you're walking through the street? Did we know that we can practice superpositioning and entanglement with our parallel bodies around the earth at once? This is language that artists are bringing out with their conscious work because I love pushing the boundaries. I've had psychedelic journeys on DMT and explored the edge of a dimension to see what we're doing in a million or a billion years in the future. And then how fun to bring that experience back and try to express it here in 3D, right?
I'd like to know how big of a population of people that you get to play with. Because I would love to play with those people. Where are those people? No, I'm serious. Because what you're talking about is so, like, yummy and delicious. Where is it?
It's a beautiful question.
It's in his mind.
Steve and I were talking a little bit about this.
And it's in yours.
And as an urban shaman, it's fun for me to create mystical experiences where we can connect with extraterrestrials, see craft right in front of us, be able to take our body and learn and teach others about levitation, mental telepathy, telekinesis, and make that normal language. Because once you get to that point, you hang out with people that lucid dream, we share dreams. There are urban shamans, which I am one of, and we do psychedelic journeys without any drugs and teach children how to unlock everything within days so they are creating homes with their own electricity, doing artwork that heals you when you look at it. There are kids on this planet that are miles ahead of us. That is a community roughly about, I would say, it's probably about 1 million people on the planet if I had to come up with a number. I've connected to thousands of them.
And, and locally, how many people do you get to play with every day? Like
every day, roughly communicating, it's about 80 a day. I have a network, every day, emails, messages. There are several projects going on at once. For example, there's a group of bioarchitects in 12 different countries that we're sharing information.
So this is like X-Men.
It is the X-Men, the physical X-Men, right?
Yes, yes.
And imagine stepping into a university program where we're talking to a traditional school of engineers or architects and artists and show them a quantum superconductive architecture. Their minds, the gaskets go. Most people, when they meet somebody like us, cry. They're so excited. You know, we've all had this experience.
So what do you call healing? Could be translated into expansion of consciousness, helping people stretch their view of reality and therefore transform their old limited beliefs and pains. Would you say that that's how your
Susie, that is definitely the direction. For me, healing is establishing the natural state of the physical, the mental, the emotional. I only make separations. It's all the same thing. To regenerate your body to its natural state in our DNA is expressed that this body can live forever.
That's right.
Minimally 1,000 years on this planet.
Did you know that I made a commitment years ago on this network that I'm going to live for 400 years?
Wow, that's interesting.
I'm 64. How does it look? Not bad, huh?
No,
not bad. Looks very good. I'm 62.
But I have a DNA blueprint here that's about 6 million years old. As I have researched it, the point for me is that we are like wingsuit flyers that jump off of cliffs, and we do it without parachutes or the wingsuit. We jump into the possibilities of consciousness, and that's what heals our biases about what's possible. Could we have a conversation with the elements, the rocks, the fire, the earth, and the air, and the water of this creation, to structure themselves so that our buildings are conscious, so that everything that we touch re-establishes our connection to home, the home that we all miss. I miss Atlantis. I miss Lemuria. I miss my experience on planet Vega and the Pleiades and other dimensions. To me, that is more natural than this craziness I wake up to every day after lucid dreaming. How do you guys quantify waking up every day in your normal life?
Well, life is beautiful if you see it that way, that's for sure. And it depends where you wake up and what you surround yourself with.
Well,
So,
I'm just laughing 24/7.
Yes,
I'm laughing. I'm laughing during the day, and I'm laughing when I'm sleeping, because it's all very funny. Everything that's going on is very funny to me.
You have to have a sense of humor.
yes.
You're so smart. You're probably saving up for free energy, right, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me bring this back to reality.
I'm so dumb. I time travel to the present every day.
Hang on. Let me bring it back to reality. So I'm gonna just share something that happened today. So I'm in the finance business when I'm not doing this. And I had a client call me today on the phone, and she said, I want to cancel my deal because yesterday I was diagnosed with cancer. And I have a very short time to live, and I'm going to sell my house and move to Illinois back to the family. And when she shared that, I just went like, oh my God. So this is the real stuff now. Okay, and when I met her last week. I actually went to her home. And this woman is 64 pounds. And when I was sitting in front of her for about an hour, I could feel, I'm quite intuitive, and I could feel that something was off. There's something that wasn't okay. But I didn't feel like asking her. She felt really good. And I didn't want to go there. So I just respected her space, and I asked her, because she was already talking to me. She was crying, and she was saying, you know, I have to go to the hospital, and I have to go through chemotherapy. This lady will not live through chemotherapy. There's no way. And I just suggested to her, the only thing I could think of, what came to me, is, have you heard of natural medicines? And have you heard of that a lot of the stuff that we are going through with our illnesses is mind over matter? And she basically said, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve.
That's the reality right there, isn't it?
That's the reality. I don't know what you're talking about, and you know, I don't even know how to relate to what you just said. So that's the reality of it, and that's why I wanted to share this. Is that this is not an event that just happens once. It happens millions of times daily.
And the challenge for us is to have that compassion, because I've had friends that do chemotherapy. I've had friends who are into consciousness, into spirituality, and they still made that choice. And it just boggles my mind, how did they step into that choice? One of the technologies I developed is called Sonic Reiki. It's just a name. It is an integration.
But wait, can I ask you a question? If somebody is in complete alignment with the choice, no matter what it is, isn't it possible that that can really work for them? If this is something that they really believe is going to work, even if it's poison, even if it's chemicals, but in their mind, this is something that's going to heal them, don't you believe that that is enough then for the healing process to work?
To me, it's no difference in somebody making a choice to drink Slurpees at 7-Eleven or eat all of the stuff that we do. It's just a different degree of it. Between fluorinated water and chemo, there's not that big a difference. So we're all making this choice every day.
Right, and different choices for different people, because different things resonate with different people. So, I mean, we must allow people to be wherever they are as we then move on to where we are. which is hard for people who are expanding every moment of the day. It's hard to find the people to play with, to really play with, and love the people that are, doing their thing, whatever that is. So,
right. I felt the emotion of that story.
I have two experiences right now, both people with cancer, and one lady is doing it naturally and using a thing that's here in Australia called the black salve. And she's had about 26 cancers pop up, and she has cured all of them by all these natural therapies and this black salve. And then I have another guy that went and did things naturally, went to another country and tried a lot of different methods, and in the end he just said, I'm going to go now. And he just sent his last email 2 days ago, which was really interesting, listening to his mindset as he progresses into his next spiritual life. But it was just fascinating to see both of these people with exactly the same lack of healing or illness, and both approaching it extremely differently. One's leaving us and one's healthier than ever. It's just fascinating.
And we make that choice. It's our choice every moment. We can go in a moment or stick around forever. It is totally a choice.
Yeah. So let me just close that loop up with her, that conversation that I had with her. So at first, what I noticed about me, my reaction is that my heart went out to her and I had compassion for her. And then right after that, what I felt is, hey, wait a minute. This is her creation. And there is nothing wrong with it. This is what she's choosing to create, and she's doing exactly what she wants to do. It's her cancer creation. Because isn't it true that she created that illness for whatever reason?
And you gently, compassionately introduced a seed to ask about holistic opportunities or alternative treatments. That's enough to begin a sequence on her mind to be investigating and looking it up. And that's enough to instigate an awakening. But it's not our job to do it.
Right.
So, however, I think like I'm writing a book now called Creating Confident Kids, and I'm finding that I can do it through coaching, or I can do it in a book. And in the chapter this morning I was writing is called Habits and Beliefs, and how the hardwiring and the neural networks are inherited and or gained through repeated habits. And yet, at the same time, we can teach our children to step outside the box and, like you said, do whatever they wish they could do. One of the problems I've come across, though, it's not really a problem, it's just an interesting scenario, is that with two of these children I'm working with, extremely bright, extremely out there children, creative, whether it's through dance or sport or, in their mind, and yet they're both having problems because they don't fit in to the societal peer group, and so feel a pressure from society, from their peer group, of not being accepted. So socially they don't feel accepted, and yet they love their creative ability, and the family and entices it, encourages it, etc. But the school and some of the places they go to don't, and so they're in this dilemma of, yeah, I can be creative, and then I'm criticized. It's really quite an interesting scenario.
This whole concept in America, we call it No Child Left Behind, which to me is a watered-down approach to make the class as, and I hate to use this word, but as dumb as the dumbest kid in the class.
Yeah, it's just programming. It's just programming, yes. That's all.
And the next century of sustainability is about opening up the creative opportunity for children to go as fast as they can go, to go as far as they can go. I was one of those kids, Linda. I was one of those children who was connected to extraterrestrials, was practicing lucid dreaming and astral travel in the 70s, in most conservative schools that you can think of military families. Yeah. I was pretty much a problem heretic child. The teachers didn't know what to do with me. I was in special education with an IQ of 180. That to me is criminal activity. That to me is tragic. why would I choose that experience, right?
Yeah.
That's why it exploded like a...
My son was very similar. So when I went to a pupil teacher day, the teacher said, the problem, this is exactly what he said, and I wrote this in the book, the problem with your son, Mrs. Dyer, is that he thinks outside the square.
That's brilliant. Thank God for that.
I said, that is a problem. I said, I went and picked him up. I went and picked him up by the collar, and I said, you know what, honey? Why don't we go and find a school that appreciates that? And we walked out of the classroom together, and he went to another school that did appreciate that. So it was really, I couldn't believe my ears. I thought, oh my gosh, here I am exposing his creativity and allowing him to be whoever that was that he wanted to be. And then the school, when he goes to school, is putting a lid on it. And I couldn't believe my ears.
Imagine now that we have children that are young masters in small bodies. All you have to ask them is, what do you want to do? Let us know what you want to study, and let's go in that direction. Not every child is there. You know, we still got some ones that follow the tradition of wanting to go to 12 years of school and then another 6 of university. But that old paradigm, to me, is dissolving.
Yeah.
Children are ready.
Yeah, there's some workforces. There's some workplaces also doing that, Fernandez, which I think is amazing. They actually hired me to come in and coach the staff who had progressed the most. In other words, when the new staff members come in, they say to them, what do you want to do in this company? And some of the kids just sit there and go, well, you know, I'll just go step by step. No, you don't have to do that here. Do you want to be the general manager one day? What do you want to do in this company? And they actually allow them to progress at whatever level they want. I think it's wonderful.
It is. And this next economy that we're stepping into is the conscious economy, the economy of grace. It's a very different paradigm for real estate, for every kind of business, based on compassion.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I
respectfully yield to the lady.
Thank you, Steve. You're such a gentleman. That's why we love you. So I was curious to hear, talking about real estate and stuff, I was just curious to hear about the funding for the project, for your project, Fernando, because I read that you're funding some research yourself, but I was also wondering what kind of global support you're getting at this point to get your vision moving forward.
Thank you, Susie. Each one of us who is doing this work outwardly is ground zero for a supernova. That means that the companies that I'm talking to, the entrepreneurs, I'm continually throwing out the possibility of building sustainable. The funding right now is coming from independent, self-made entrepreneurs. If you want to be real specific about it, if you're really a business guru, the profile is individuals that are not working for Fortune 500 companies, that are not in the stock exchange, who have made their own products or launched their own organization between $2 million and $50 million of valuation. This is the profile of people that are investing in free energy or investing in healing technology or water or food or housing. And when I talk to friends who are into money and investment, I said, you need a portfolio. I don't say those words like that, but there's an opportunity to have a portfolio that has 5 areas: energy, food, water, housing, and wellness. If you're not playing in those fields, write off your entire portfolio, because that is about to crash very quickly. I would say within the next 3 or 4 years, the stock market, all that, not as a fear base, but my intention is to start moving entrepreneurs toward sustainability, toward healing, toward water, toward education, and building real things, not paper investments into mutual funds that don't help anybody. That's bringing this consciousness to the ground level where the rubber meets the road.
So you're bringing a team of creatives to work with you Or are you, because you probably don't have all the training yourself to design, to heal, to build, so are you creating a team of people? Is that a conjoint effort?
No, I do have those skills. I
Really?
am a healer.
Wait a minute,
I am a builder. I'm an
Fernando,
entrepreneur.
I need to put a correction in. So
No, you don't.
yes, I do. It helps the bankers.
You don't hate to.
And I am in that business. The paper money helps the bankers, and there's millions of them. So I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, I'll give you a quick profile. I've developed
I'm just kidding with you.
a project
I'm just
called the
kidding.
Mulsahedron Project, which is a structure, the one you're talking about, Jamie, the Sacred Geometry Dome. It has all these beautiful features that are in consciousness, but that doesn't matter to an investor. So I've designed a series of business models. One of them is a chain of vegetarian taco places called Veggie Taco. I've registered that name, and there are these domes that we would put in different parts of the city that happen to be a healing, self-sustaining structure, but we don't sell that. You're just going to a restaurant that is built like this beautiful temple, and you're eating food that is charged with this technology. You're drinking structured living water. You are standing inside a cymatic engine that you're getting euphoria while you're standing waiting for your tacos. I don't have to explain anything about that.
And what's the cost of building something like that?
The domes themselves are done with a kind of mold that you assemble on your property, and it's designed for a very tight space, about 1,000 square feet. And you pour this natural concrete in that turns into this foam. You take the mold off, and it costs you about $10,000 to have a 1,000 square foot structure. And you build it in a week. No metal in the structure. There's no rebar. There's no conduit electricity running through the walls, and that's changing the paradigm at each level every time.
So you believe that we can build anything, and it will feel good based on intention?
I believe what? Tell me one more time. Somebody walked in real fast.
We can build anything that will feel good based on our intention as we go into the building of it. We can create anything, a structure.
Yes. As a intermediary, as an ambassador of this technology or these solutions, it has to be presented in a benevolent way that doesn't step on people's free will. So if you understand real estate, it's a real estate deal. If you understand schools or commerce,
but I'm
or
not
retail,
talking about that. I'm talking about that
you want to go deep.
Cellular level.
You want
our ability to create at a cellular level something physical, and the intention is to create in such a way that it will be sustainable and people will actually experience it and have well-being. That is possible.
It's
to do it
beyond possible. First, take the word sustainability, throw it away. Come up with a different term. I call it regenerative architecture. I'm not interested in survival. I'm not interested even in being sustainable. We already are that as humans on this planet. The question is, what would it take to design something that regenerates at the cellular level in your body, increases your immune system, opens up the pathways of your neural gateways between each dendrite?
But wait, our body already does that.
It doesn't. We've been stifled. No.
Yeah.
Well,
because we are not.
We're blocked by all kinds of energy.
We are.
We're not the same person we were 6 years ago, physically.
But
everything
even
is new.
every time we put ourselves in a different environment,
we've been systematically corrupted.
Yeah, and there's ways in which we're growing into a much more finer, refined version of who we are as well. So it's not that we're wrong, it's just that we can get better.
I never said wrong. It is what it is. I am the monkey wrench, like many people are. I came to this planet because I love just jamming the system. I like busting the system. That's
so which planet do you come from? Tell us.
He wants to go deep. I, at some point, when you do connect through, let's say, 100,000 iterations of your soul incarnations, there you've been to all the planets, all the star systems. It just depends how far you want to see.
I realize that I actually have a connection with the whole idea of life outside, and I was connected already. So, but I had the feeling you were talking very specifically about past memory when you just said.
My family tree is
Yes.
Andromedan from the Andromeda Galaxy. Here in the Milky Way galaxy, it's known as it's actually known as a sound. It doesn't have the name Milky Way, but it's still divine feminine. There are several systems. The Pleiades, the Orion, and the Arcturian systems is the closest before Earth. So I've had real close incarnations on the star Vega. There's a planet next to that. The planet Maya in the Pleiadian system are some of the home planets that I remember, and a very long incarnation during Atlantis here on Earth. So
do you think that the technology that you are trying to implement right now is inspired by higher intelligences from those planets?
Right. As we start connecting through our inner work, through the alignment, the detoxification, all of that, we're receiving more and more information. And as an artist, to me, it's like a bigger palette. I can paint now with quantum technology. I can experiment because we're creators. That's all that I love to do here, is just to create what's possible. It's a kitchen.
So how challenging is it for you to get your ideas across to, the neural networks that are out there?
I'm biased. I'm very biased. I like hanging out with people that are already there. We're talking the language. We're there. I don't have to convince anybody of anything, and I just work with the people around me. I don't have to seek them out on the earth. They just
seek you
I'm
out,
attracted to them. Right. Yeah. I'm building these cities for the people that want them already. I'm not interested in convincing anybody that doesn't want them. And that might not be very spiritual.
Yeah, well, that's a kind of subject that either you get it or not. It's not about convincing, because it's a different vibration altogether. It's a different dimension.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was on my early 20s, and I'm originally from Brazil, and I was camping in the Andes in Bolivia. And I had a direct contact, I mean, couldn't be more direct, with this huge ship. And very clear, very, very near, there was communication, everything. And it was one of those amazing moments in which I realized that it's so interesting, because I always wanted that to happen. I always wanted to have a contact. But when you actually are faced so close, what I think, at least what happened with me and with people that were with me, it's a sense of complete, it's like if your whole system was being replugged. Like when you replug a computer.
Yes. You're reconfigured. You're being upgraded. You get a new OS.
Oh my goodness! It was just, and I could see all my past and all my life and where I was born and all the people that I knew, and I thought, oh my God, I have two options here. Either I'm going to step up really, really, truly, or I'm going to go mad, because there's no way in between. It's just such a wonderful sensation to see that there's a civilization out there it's a thinking civilization, that they do exist, that they master techniques of physics that we don't. They were floating in the air with zero
Just replace
noise.
the word they with we. We exist.
There we go. And,
there's no they.
Yeah. Well, at the time on my early 20s, I thought maybe if I went inside the curve of that shift would be so steep for me that I wouldn't be able to integrate, being here and having a normal life and whatever, and literally, knowing that it's we and it's about being in the ship and being here, and but truly, I believe that we recirculate much more than we are aware of in all those dimensions, and
Susie,
yeah.
what about this possibility that you are the one that's the programmer, the creator, and you are the one creating the program?
Yeah, I don't deny, Steve. I'm not trying to push it out there. What
What if there is nothing out there? Is that a
well,
possibility?
there was something there. It's that's the point. That's not that I was hallucinating. If there was a lot of people with me, we all saw it. It was great. There is another dimension with beings that are far more developed. They were there saying hello. We love you.
It's
interesting.
interesting.
I can't deny that.
We straddle two worlds most of the time and are completely unaware of it, or we are aware of it. But most people that are connected to themselves and open to the receiving, I think, myself included, straddle two worlds all day long. And it's an interesting way to live.
It is not something that most people can do, to straddle the different dimensions of who and what they are, especially when you go through that awakening process. As an explorer, I always like to see all the time, okay, this is what I've achieved or we've achieved now. What is possible if we went further? And if we go a little further, I keep saying, what is possible if I push that boundary a little bit more? Then I've discovered that there are light ships, and there's a nesting like Russian dolls of a light ship structure. There are physical metallic ships made here on Earth. There are metallic physical ships made on nearby planets like Mars and Venus. And then there are vibrational ships made out of pure light. Then there are ships made out of pure thought. And then it keeps going up the bandwidth, right? And each kind of craft is an instant teleporter to parallel dimensions, parallel realities, because we can travel anywhere in creation at any given time. We have that freedom. And what it is the thought. So I've met with researchers here on Earth who worked under Tesla, Otis Carr's proteges, like a Ralph Ring, who have built physical craft here in California that operate on crystals and thought. You go into the craft, put your hands over this crystal, and think of a color. The color that you're thinking about, like violet per se, is what drives the craft to materialize and dematerialize in different parts of the earth, and you don't feel it. When you have that experience, it jams up your circuits in your brain, because you say, well, we didn't go anywhere, I didn't feel anything. You have to get rid of that bias. As you visit with your star family from different levels of evolution, you deconstruct anything you think of as a biosphere or a spaceship or an encounter, and I keep pushing it until there is no separation between being here on Earth, going to work, paying your taxes, and going on your ship or visiting other dimensions. And that can be taught.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Imagine architects talking like this, right? This house that I've been working on, the Volsahedron, is a ship. It's a transporter mechanism that takes your body and your life and transforms it from day one to a future time where I want to step out of that spaceship and be in a planet that's awakened, that's ascended, that's in peace, that is clean. And that may take a year, 10 years in linear time, 100, I don't know. But how fun to have that option.
It's interesting.
So have you had experiences already in which you actually traveled in time through your structures?
There is no time.
Completely. Yes, absolutely. Every time
what are you talking about time? There is no time.
Steve?
Susie, I'm going to New York and show you how to have one of these experiences in person. There are many shortcuts from our linear point of view to achieve communication with the quantum world. If we were to take a little quartz crystal and wrap a coil of copper around it and plug that into your USB port on your laptop and use some software that displays on your screen whatever comes through that crystal, or takes your voice and sends it out that crystal, you have an instant quantum communication antenna to parallel dimensions. So you can have a video conference with your star family with that configuration. It's not that hard, huh?
You know, all technology is headed in this direction. I mean, this is the future. Technology is going to be all based on everything you're talking about, which is super interesting. I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, but it's all moving that way.
So what would happen if we recognize that all laptops, all electronics, everything has crystals in it? And your body's crystals, the silica, the calcium, the quartz inside your body communicates with this through your field, your Merkaba, your chi. So there is no reason why we can't connect to the internet through these devices using quantum technology. And when I say quantum, it's just purely energetic. There's no hardware. But it has an interface. So there are people on this planet using today's computers to talk to their ancestors, their star family, just for fun. I have talked to people who are the elders of their family. They live hundreds of years. This tree just dropped to see them. I've also communicated with two ancients there that I know about. I don't know how many there are. There are people that are living 600 to 700 years. Then there are individuals here on Earth. There's a few immortals here on Earth. So I've meditated and sent communication to them. I've worked with groups to teach them how to remote view, like to go underground and talk to a reptilian and help heal that violence. What a fun experience, yeah? And I keep asking, okay, if that's available, what else is available on Earth?
Whatever you can think.
Exactly.
So I'm curious to know that you said you started your whole program at 2012, and you've been around for a while. So what were you doing before then?
Before 2012, I was going through that consciousness process that we all go through, pushing our ability to heal the body with changing my diet, changing my lifestyle, going through visiting sites around the world. I went to South Africa, I went to Australia, and about 12 different countries visiting ancient sites. Where were the Anunnaki? Where were the Pleiadians? Where were the Lemurians? What was happening on Earth 250,000 years ago? And do we have artifacts of Atlantis? So I went to have direct experience so I could touch rocks carved by these civilizations. And that had a bunch of downloads in my body. I've touched those crystal skulls and had visions of Atlantis right there in the physical.
So would you say that you have a particular awakening moment around 2012? That's
what I did for the last decade. But in 2012 is when I decided to take all of that fun experience and focus it like a laser into bringing something that I could touch in my hand as a solution.
You've been doing your work then for about 3 to 4 years, right?
It's more like a decade.
Specifically.
The specific Vocahedron project is 3.5 years old.
Okay.
Fascinating stuff.
Really?
I'm waiting for Steve to kick in with something.
Well, I am just in awe because you're talking about so many new things, one after another, that I'm just sitting here. I'm going like, Steve,
where do you start?
Keep an open mind. Continue to keep an open mind. Steve, let me remind you, continue to keep an open mind because all this stuff is possible. And it's interesting that, you know, I've been recently asking for all this actually in the last couple of months, and here you are talking about possibilities that are not even possibilities anymore. A lot of it has already happened. So I'm just, the way I'm internalizing all of this right now is, you know, I've been asking my own mind to take the veil and reveal to me much more in terms of what's possible for my senses, and it's working. Oh my God, it's working. My senses are expanding like crazy. It's fascinating stuff. So I'm just, running my own laboratory, and I've been through all that stuff that you're talking about, which is healing myself and doing all that stuff. So who knows, what's next? After a while, I'll just go like, okay, so what? Now what?
Well, when you answer the question, and Susie, let me know how you feel about this. You get to a point when you have experiences in different parts of the world, communicate with people that are living these realities, you think, okay, now what? What else could I do? Because my lucid dreaming when I'm sleeping, and then my waking dream when I'm in the physical focused here, I had to bring them together. They had to come together. I was a schizophrenic, spiritual schizophrenic for a while, because I had my working life, my art life, my scientific research, my archaeology, visiting free energy laboratories, being demonstrated inverse gravity, and I used to work in black projects. I was one of the software developers on the B-2 bomber, and I'm going to have to carry that for the rest of my life. Anytime that technology is out there killing people, I had influence on that when I worked for General Electric Aerospace. I had to heal that also. I used to work for Microsoft and Sony, and I saw what weaponized technology looks like. What's evil? I don't want to use the evil word, but what I'm saying is that Bill Gates didn't make his millions selling Windows. He's a military contractor. They make operating systems for weapons. I had to heal that. That's where that decade of healing, that role came to be. And coming into a Pleiadian spaceship, being taken on a ship and shown the Earth, what it looks like from space, it is not a sphere. It is a quantum thing.
So what this brings to the forefront for me is something that I think is really important. What you're describing here, which is something I've had to do for myself, is to face our darkest part of ourselves before we can experience our freedom. Is that an accurate statement from your point of view?
Not necessarily. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not necessarily.
Go right ahead, my dear.
The question wasn't addressed to me, so I should just
bring it out. I think
how do you know? How do you know who it was addressed to?
We're here to try.
I had a feeling that you were trying to ask Fernando, but okay. So let me just say what I think. I would say that darkness has a function to teach us, for sure. So it's, and I think it's good that we remember that, not to make it look like bad, because most of us would think of darkness as something bad, and this has a whole lot to do with, religious beliefs, Christian beliefs, sin, heaven, hell, all this pantheon that was created. And yet, darkness it teaches us about the light. So it's wonderful in that respect. But sometimes somebody could have a revelation that is so powerful that might not necessarily involve facing like the darkest of the soul type of momentum, So I think it exists, and it exists on different levels to each people, depending on what they need for their own awakening process.
I see it like an energy, like gravity. When you trip and fall, you don't say gravity is evil. It just is a force of nature. So is what we call the darkness. It is not a judgment against you. It's not personal in any way. Nothing about the dark, what we call evil or suffering here on Earth, has anything to do with you. And
Fernando, I think as I get older, I think gravity sucks.
Yes, but Linda, gravity loves you. Just like the trees love you, so does gravity, and it wants to get a hold of you. But when I worked with Professor Searle in his laboratory with the Searle effect generator, his inverse gravity device, I learned that gravity is not a pulling force. It's actually a force that comes from different directions, and it's from the top. So to have a craft levitate, or to have your body levitate, you're disrupting up here. So your body naturally levitates. It is like in water, buoyant. And children already know this.
Yeah.
Oh, I had tons of dreams that I'm levitating. I'm like constantly having dreams that I'm levitating. It's crazy. By the way,
Jamie, are you levitating? You're so quiet all of a sudden.
Me?
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking this all in. It's all really very interesting to me. I have to.
As an artist, I like pushing that boundary, even for those who say, well, I've done all the spiritual work, I've already read all the books and stuff. I like just pushing it even further.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got to give this example of a lucid dream. So the other day, this is just a few days ago, I had this dream that someone kissed me, like, really good. And I have to share this. So they kissing me, and I'm waking up, and I'm going like, where is the person? It was so real. Dude, it was so real. It was so real. Yeah, I know it's me. Yes, that's it. You said it.
I miss a lot of people that I meet in lucid time because they are part of your life, and it's very real to me.
It's absolutely amazing stuff. I
it's
just
ecstasy
love it.
To fall in love in a lucid dream.
Yes, it's outrageous. Okay.
And as a crazy person, I want to bring that to this physical reality.
So
what we're going to be doing in as little as a decade is going to seem like magic compared to what we're doing right now. Because disclosure would have already unfolded. Teleportation would have been released. That's been around since the 40s. Inverse gravity and quantum tunneling through timelines is going to be normal. You're going to have tours in a decade to go through different timelines on Earth. And you can dress up in your costume of the 1800s or the Egyptian times, and you're going to be studying archaeology for real. That's going to be available to us, I would say, in a decade. I'm one of those people that's going to make sure it's available.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Absolutely awesome stuff. So, wow, I had so much fun. And
we just began, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Fernando Bosa, you were incredible. You certainly have brought us to a new level. I can say that for myself. I don't know about everybody else, but a new level of thinking and a new level of what's possible and what's coming and what we can create. And I am absolutely in an alignment of all the stuff that you've been talking about and more. So thank you so much, Fernando, to be here and to share this stuff with us and the network. And I also want to thank Jamie, Linda, and Susie to be here. You guys always make the show absolutely
our beautiful
fantastic.
Goddesses.
Yes, beautiful goddesses, and they not shy. Maybe Jamie seems like shy, but she's not. That's just the game she plays.
Would you be open to doing a closing little mantra of affirmations for the audience, for each other?
Yeah,
sure. We're always open to whatever.
So you let me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
So take a deep breath. Let everything that we've shared today just sit, no judgment. And you can repeat in your mind or out loud. I am the center of mass creation. I am. I'll wait for you if you want. I am an engine of mass creation. I am fully healed in my body right now. I am a starship. I am my star family. The knowledge of the ages is in me right now. I can manifest any physical dream that comes into my awareness. And together we send the frequency of peace and healing to this entire planet right now.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. A woman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
This is the most
Okay.
powerful practice right now. Self-affirmations, be in the reality. Thank you.
And the I and the
Thank
I
you.
am and the
In the
I
I am.
am and the I am and the repetition of I am totally
I
absolutely
am is the name of Prime
powerful.
Creator. Beyond
Yes.
God, Goddess,
Yes.
I am is the
Yes.
state of now.
I am. It's actually on my glasses. On both sides of my glasses, it says I am. Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
fantastic show.
Thank
For
you.
everybody, if for everybody else out there, if anything that Fernando or any of our cast members, Jamie, Linda, Susie, said here today touched, moved, and inspired you, continue to watch this show and all the other shows that we have, and almost 2,000 of them on our YouTube channel. The more you watch this show and any other shows, the more they get up to the top 10 every month. When they do, they have the possibility to go to public television, cable television, or who knows, maybe to a different planet.
Wow.
Thank you for all of you for being here. Have a good night. See you guys.
Bye-bye, Fernando. Thank you.
Jamie,
Bye.
Linda,
Bye.
Susie,
Bye.
hit me up on Facebook, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Will do.
Bye, beautifuls.
Bye.